So Anthony, you got the hockey thing that got brought up. So how's it been going lately? What's the plan?
I am retired at the moment. Uh, Coming out of retirement is not out of the question, but
Possible free agent.
I'd be down. I'd love to go watch some hockey games in OU.
yeah, especially right
would be
now,
fun.
there's not able to skate or anything anywhere, so we'll see. Their whole situation down there is a little. Their coach, he didn't really give me a fair chance, to put it lightly. So, got a little bad taste in my mouth towards him. So I might just play D2 next year, just because they're both their teams are club. So,
Both club teams.
yeah.
Might play D2. What does that mean?
It's just there's a D1 club team and a D2 club team.
Oh, okay.
And
I see.
Yeah, I basically I ended up getting on the wagon really late when it was to coming to OU, and by the time I had talked to their coach, he had already had as many guys rostered as he wanted. So
yeah, and who knows?
he basically told me, like, he didn't even look into me at all. He just couldn't fit any more people on the roster.
Sounds
so
good.
I just left it at that, and we'll see what happens.
And who knows with the this upcoming season? There might be people who aren't able to come back for whatever reason, or if there will even be hockey at all.
Yeah, that was the thing that bothered me the most, I would say, is he doesn't have tryouts, which you can go to any of the top club teams across the club hockey spectrum, and they're all having tryouts because a lot of guys will go to OU that could have went to other places, and they come late and they haven't talked to the coach, and they just go to tryouts, and you end up getting a player that you wouldn't have had otherwise and you didn't even know about. So it doesn't make sense to me to not have tryouts at all, because you can charge people for tryouts, make money for your team, and I don't see how it hurts you in any way to have tryouts.
I thought schools had to have tryouts. When I was at Kent, the baseball team had to have a tryout. They didn't have to take anybody, but they had to have a tryout.
That could be different with like NCAA sanctioned sports, but club hockey is not completely separate from the university, but the team doesn't follow any NCAA regulations. Like they don't get drug tested. They don't have to do all the other things that you'd have to do if you were playing a collegiate sanctioned sport.
It's a funding thing, right?
Yeah.
The university doesn't feel like having an actual, if they wanted to, they could have a D1 hockey program. They're just we don't really care about it that much. So
no, there's been a lot of speculation on it because with the Blue Jackets right up the road, a lot of talks of kind of integrating those programs, and their arenas. It's sufficient for a D1 team. So
do they play at the basketball arena, or is it just a whole other stadium for it?
Yeah, they have their own separate stadium.
I imagine if they wanted to, they could probably make a hockey rink out of that stadium if they wanted to. Like if they did want to do a D1 program, then they could probably do that.
It wouldn't even be worth it though, because
nobody's showing up.
It's an old building. That's the weird part about it is there's dorm rooms in the basketball arena. Like it's called the convocation. Wow. Yeah, it's called the convocation center, and then so there's the basketball arenas in the middle, and then there's like the outer wrapping of it. There's dorms all up and down it. So
that sounds enticing at first, but I'm sure it can get old pretty quick.
Oh yeah, I'm sure if you're trying to do some work on a
Keep
Wednesday
going.
night and they're playing a basketball game,
Keep it down out there.
hearing the
No.
announcer.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to
who's
study
gonna
here.
tell them? Go to your RA. Can you tell them to turn it down?
I feel like I'd like that though for the most part because like any given night, like if
Just
you're
go walk
bored,
down.
if you're bored, you're like, I guess I'll just go watch the basketball game. I'm already here. Like I'll go watch a little bit of it. I'll grab like a beer or something and then drink it before you go and have like a hot dog or whatever. Like, it's pretty. I don't know. It's kind of that'd be kind of nice in my eyes.
You get free admission already.
Yeah,
This
That's
is
not
true.
an issue.
I mean,
Now
they
now
probably
I
don't
know.
even check you because you already live there. So
Yeah. Now I know the bowling team here at least would actually play with NCAA sanctioned teams. Is that the same with the hockey team, Anthony?
The bowling team?
No, the hockey team there. Would you guys play in tournaments with NCAA teams?
I mean they played one game last year against NCAA D3 team. So I believe they're allowed to. They can intertwine schedules and play each other, but it's not. There's no like conferences where it's half the teams are NCAA and half of them are club.
Yeah, that was pretty much the case here.
Yeah, so it's completely they're two separate entities, but I mean it's similar to a guy like NAIA, like there's teams that'll play basketball teams will play NAIA teams and D3 teams, but it's not really going to affect their rankings within their individual league much.
Mhm.
So I want to pivot a little bit here.
Go for it.
So you guys have heard of the murder hornet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I've been reading about
we've
that
got our
recently.
resident we have a resident pest control expert here. I wanted to get his take on the matter here. Is this something that I should be worried about?
To my knowledge, no. Just because I mean I know they're a threat to the honeybee population, which is already at threat. So in that sense, maybe I don't know completely, but I know most of the bigger hornets like that they're not really going to bother you unless they feel threatened. Like in Ohio, we have European hornets, and I mean they get as big as your thumb, and I don't really have any problem dealing with those. The only scariest part about them is just they sound like a fighter jet taking off when they all start swarming together. It's really loud, but I mean, bald faced hornets and yellow jackets those are going to do more damage to you personally as a human than any of those oversized hornets.
I don't
So
think we've had any in Ohio yet. I think they
no,
brought them out.
I think it was in Washington or Oregon they were spotted.
I don't know
So
what
Oregon.
out there. Do you think honeybees aren't native to America, correct?
I actually do not know the answer to that
Does
question,
anyone
sir.
know that? I don't
That's
know if they
it's a
are.
Google. That's a Google.
I don't think they are. I don't believe they were originally native to the Americas. But do you think that our honeybees will ever evolve to kill hornets like the Japanese honeybees do?
Oh,
Because honeybees, at least here in America, can't really kill hornets. They don't do a good job. They just get literally bit in half.
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's the. I know I was reading the killer hornets they're talking about out west that they're seeing. Apparently they just straight up decapitate them, just rip
Yeah,
their heads off.
they'll bite them in half.
But
Honeybees have no means of ever
Everything I've seen and know about our native honeybees, they are what most people would refer to as soft pussies.
Mhm.
Um,
They're
if
gonna
they
get
s-
decimated by this thing.
if they sting a human, then they die. A lot of people have the idea in their head that all bees, once they sting, they die, but that's actually just honeybees. Um, that's yellow jackets. That's why if you get stung by a yellow jacket, you usually get stung more than once.
Yeah.
Because it releases a little hormone that attracts all the others once they sting you.
Yeah, those are hornets though, right?
Yeah, yellow jackets are technically hornets. So
They look much like bees.
yeah, I mean they're the traditional like
Yeah.
black and yellow look. That's
They don't look like a honeybee.
no honeybee's got like a black
Very
fur to
furry.
'em. Yeah.
Yeah, very furry for the pollen.
But that's the bee or hornet I should say that I would be cautious of in the Midwest is the black or bald faced hornets. They're black and white, and they get pretty damn big too.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one either.
I've dealt with a good amount, and they are the only thing that I've ever been stung through my bee suit from,
Ooh,
and that's not fun because you're sitting there feeling
the big
invisible,
boy.
invincible, and then you get a nice sting on your shoulder, and it's just what the. It's like I thought this thing was protecting me. And then that's the worry is your biggest worry with wearing a bee suit is if one of them slips in a crack somewhere and gets inside
Oh
the bee
gosh,
suit.
And it doesn't get out.
that's game over.
Yeah.
So that was
Oh.
my first reaction is getting stung through the suit. I'm like, oh shit, he's in there, and I'm freaking out. I like run away and like rip it off. I'm like, whoa, whoa.
Oh my
No,
god.
those guys, especially for people that are allergic to bees, bald-faced hornets could potentially be lethal because they latch onto you and they sting and sting and sting,
Oh god.
Oh man, that sounds awful.
and that's
So
what are you saying?
I was gonna pivot back, but what are you saying now? Go
I
on.
was just gonna say the bald-faced hornets get pretty large too. I mean, they'd be uh yeah about half your thumb maybe, a little bit skinnier.
Yeah.
Big old boy. Yeah. So going back, we got Japanese hornets coming in Oregon and Washington. I've just
Yeah.
seen a spike in probably like secondary news articles about these hornets. So
Yeah.
they're so
Are
can
they
someone
from
give me a
Florida, from
lowdown on
Japan?
what's actually happening now?
The murder hornet? You want to low down on that?
Yeah. They're spotted in Washington,
Yeah, so it's not native to the Americas.
right?
It's a bee that can easily destroy a whole. So typically, how they work, I don't know if how all hornets work, but they they'll send like a little scout. He'll find a nest, kind of
Mhm.
like mark that, and then the army comes in. They kill all the bees, all of them, kill them all,
Rain
take their
terror.
honey, and go. They
Yeah.
also have an incredibly painful sting. Coyote Peterson, who's actually from Ohio, from the Columbus area, who stings
Mhm.
himself for purpose, he stung himself. His whole hand locked up. His whole arm from like the elbow to his wrist swelled up 2 times the size so it originally was. A guy who studies hornets got stung through a bee suit, through sweatpants twice, and it drew blood.
Jeez.
These are
Oh,
big bees, big old,
Yeah,
not bees, big old hornets, and they
I'm
mean
seeing
business.
so
they get up to 2 inches, which is absolutely massive for a bee.
so my real question is like, does anyone know how they got here?
I, who knows? I don't.
Someone bring a plant over and it just had eggs or something?
I'm sure it was something along shipping.
Yeah,
Something.
because that's what they were
Somebody-
saying about the honeybees that I read. They're just kind of like brought over by ships.
Ah,
But that was like
bought it as a pet or
1600
something.
from Europe.
they
So
are an invasive species, but they're
Yeah.
invasive species that we've allowed.
I mean, that one might be on purpose, but
maybe.
Yeah, hornets in general are just real dickheads.
Just need to wipe them out.
I mean, they really are just dicks. They don't do shit, especially yellow
steal.
jackets. Yellow jackets don't do a damn thing other than
They
just attack people mowing their lawn.
They don't pawn
That's
it or
really
anything.
true.
Like what
Yeah.
the
I mean, you don't know how many times I've heard someone say, "I was cutting my grass, and next thing I know, I'm getting swarmed." Like, yeah, that'll happen.
run over a ground nest somewhere.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's bad.
yellow jackets commonly nest in the ground. So, if you've ever been stung while cutting your grass, it was almost for sure a yellow jacket.
Yeah, call my boy if that happens. Mr. Anthony, he'll take care of you.
Shameless plug. Absolute Pest Control, Twinsburg, Ohio. Tell them Tony sent you.
Tony
Tony
said,
said it.
Give me that
Pretty
commission,
sure-
baby.
giving out free sponsorships here.
Yeah. Tony
Shameless
50
plug.
on your next promo code.
50% off on your next service.
$50 more.
Promo code Tony knows.
Tell him
But
Tony
on-
sent you.
Going back to the what I asked earlier, at least for evolution wise, I don't know if anyone knows this, but like how Japanese beetles kill wasps. So they'll let the scout come into the thing, and he'll look around, and then out of nowhere, all the bees swarm the wasp, and they vibrate, and then they essentially, because of their vibration, they cook the wasp.
Yeah.
Because they get to a specific temp that they can
It's
handle, but
hardcore.
the wasp cannot, and the wasp gets cooked alive and it
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah. It's hardcore. I was reading that
Mm.
our version of bees, the European bee, has not evolved to do that. So they're going to get decimated by this thing because
Yeah.
the scout won't have that issue of being cooked alive by all of the bees that swarm it.
No, they'll just go in there and
Oh, who's to say that they can't evolve to do that though? I mean, if the Japanese bee can do it, why can't the European bee?
maybe we need to bring
Oh.
some Japanese honeybees over here.
It's probably because the Japanese hornet and the Japanese honeybee evolved alongside each other.
That's true. Yeah, it's probably true.
So,
They've been doing
it
it
wasn't
forever.
like a quick, just automatic
Yeah,
decimation when someone with a new skill set comes in and just kind of wipes out your people. I mean, we had an invasive human species here too, and it didn't go so well for the humans who were already here.
That's very true.
That didn't evolve alongside them. So, like, as awful as an analogy that is, it paints a clear picture of what happened. So.
An invasive species.
Invasive species. Damn Europeans.
They came over with guns. I mean,
Yeah.
they were at least in the same area.
They were the murder hornets.
Yeah, they got more evolution tools that did better.
Oh, yeah, but I thought you were equating it to the Japanese honeybees with the
Yeah,
wasp.
they are. The European people are the Japanese honeybees, and they're coming over to murder the European honeybees that are here,
No, they
who
would
are
be
the Native Americans.
They would be the
Get some
Japanese
reserves.
wasp, not the honeybee.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah,
is
the
it
Japanese-
from Japan? I don't even.
The
is it
Japanese hornet.
No, it's Asian.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's the Asian hornet, Asian giant hornet, I believe.
Yeah,
Massive.
I saw New York Times put out a piece of like they eat them over there, and I think they
heard
actually like
fry
coat
'em
them in
up.
honey.
Oh, I would eat them if they're 2 inches long. There's bound to be some good
They're-
parts in there.
Some big boys. They say they put the
bigger.
venom in whiskey, give it an extra knot. And I was like, all right, that's what we gotta do.
I was reading like homestead recipes for like cicadas, like when they when they come out, like you just fry them up or like put them with honey and stuff. Like I heard they're actually pretty good. So I can't imagine that a murder hornet doesn't taste good. Just
I
you have to go about catching them. Uh,
That should be
But-
every citizen's obligation to eat those.
Yeah,
Eat
that's
God,
those.
they're so
nobody
annoying.
likes those, man.
Can you
No,
imagine when you splat one of
maybe a
those things,
piece of
how much
bugs.
juice is gonna come out? Like if you smack one of those things, it's gonna get everywhere.
There's a bunch of there's like different cicadas that have like there's like 14-year cicadas or something, like certain
Yeah.
number
Yeah.
of years cicadas, and it's just, dude, why don't you just fuck
Incredible.
off?
They don't come out at the same goddamn time.
Like, what do they do? There's a lot of insects, and I'm just like, what do you contribute? Why are you here?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something if you look far enough, but it's nothing on the surface.
I heard by like word of mouth, if mosquitoes just were not a thing anymore, there would be no impact to our environment. They're completely useless.
do
Like everyone says,
nothing.
like, oh, they're for frog foods. Like, no, they're not needed.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that they contribute is they're a food source for certain animals, but that's about it.
But if they just went away, something else would take their place, so it'd be fine.
Just disease spreading,
Holy-
fucking waste of space.
Assholes.
Get rid of them.
That would be
Mosquito
nice.
genocide.
Imagine a non-mosquito world, be able to go outside. and have
You'd be out of a
fire.
job. You'd be out of a job.
No, I would not. We do not.
Yeah, termites.
I'd be so glad if they were gone. That's the worst thing to do, because all you do is go fucking. You gotta pull a big ass hose all across their yard and spray their trees and shit. I'm like, dude, it's only gonna last you a week. Why are you paying for this? Like
Get you
we
back
tell
next
them,
week.
it's like the only thing we don't warranty. Like we're like, yeah, it'll like the mosquitoes won't be as bad for a month maybe. They're like, yeah, good for me. That shows you how much people hate mosquitoes. They're like, yeah, I don't care how long it lasts. Do it.
I remember
How much
like
is that for a mosquito treatment?
I want to say it's like $115 or $120.
for a month. That's a
might
bit
do
much
that,
for
yeah.
a month. I mean,
If I was that PO'd, I could see someone doing it. $100 for a month of relief, fine.
No, I mean, I will say when people if you're having a grad party or throwing an outdoor party, it's definitely get it done like a couple days before. People
I can see
definitely be
that.
like, "This is nice out here. I'm not getting bit up at all."
Yeah, I could definitely see that. That would be a definite
It is.
situation where it'd be
I will.
worth it.
It is effective. It is effective until it starts raining a lot and just kind of wears down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I've seen like some like deck coatings where you can like paint your deck with like mosquito infused like repellent.
Oh.
I don't know how well that stuff works. I've seen it for sale. I'm like, wow. I mean,
It doesn't work.
it might work for like a
It's the
month.
same. It's the same fucking thing as lighting a citronella candle. You're like, it's doing something. I swear.
It's doing something. I swear.
I'm not getting
Smacking your legs
bit
and
as
stuff.
much.
That's much.
I've gone down to 3 bites per minute. Oh shit.
Oh.
Ooh.
All right. So how was the past few weeks of school? You prefer it? You hate it? You're glad it's over? What's your comments?
I'm glad it's over, and I will not be intentionally taking online classes in the future.
Why is that?
To be honest, I'm kind of for me. I know I listen to your guys' podcast. I know what you had to say about it, Noah. And
Yeah.
for me, it's the biggest thing is I don't like some teachers don't set it up well enough, and I had a teacher for 2 classes, the same teacher.
Oh
that
yeah.
was not very fluent. I mean, she can speak fairly well. When you're in person, you get what she's saying. But then there's certain, and then she's on I had to be on 2 different platform like websites that she like created separately from Blackboard for both of the classes. She had a different platform for
Blackboard.
each class.
There's your problem right there.
Well, that's the whole OU's on Blackboard, and
That's terrible.
yeah, so that was my problem with it is I would prefer to be able to go to the class and have the teacher say at the end of the class, "Hey, just reminding you guys we got whatever assignment due tomorrow at 11:59 or whatever," and instead of me frantically searching on this terribly organized page looking for because nothing lines up on the syllabus. Especially once that happened, it was the syllabus went out the door. So it was just you had to search high and wide for certain things that in person it would have just been right there for you. So that was my biggest problem with it. But as a whole, I mean, it is nice not having to wake up and walk a mile to class and get dressed and take a shower, do all that good stuff. So there's definitely the benefit of being able to roll out of bed and turn your
Pros
computer
and cons.
Oh yeah. This I think that just has to go into the ways that you can do it wrong category.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I definitely think with this whole thing, there's a lot's going to be reevaluated when it comes to things like that. Because it does kind of show you how unnecessary a lot of things that people do are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it takes like a swift kick in the pants for people to get more efficient from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So how's the rest of the major going? Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Where are you in and how do you like it? What do you want?
So the title of my major is Urban Planning and Sustainability. So my first semester, I got a good amount of the 1,000 level classes out of the way. I did. There was
Attendance classes.
yeah, essentially. I did. There was a class called Human Geography. I actually found that kind of interesting. Just kind of looking at how whether it's certain culture influences move and technology and things like that, how they spread and how that kind of goes down. So that was kind of cool to look at things like that, like looking at like agricultural techniques and things and how they were implemented in different areas of the world at different times and stuff like that. So just kind of getting a lot of the basics out of the way, and then the second semester I was taking the biggest, most important class that I had really was Intro to GIS.
Nice.
And so that was the not very well speaking English teacher that taught that, which
and that
I've
was one
also
of your more
kind of
important classes.
I also kind of have a theory where it seems like a lot of the higher level classes, especially at OU, there's the people that teach them aren't very good at English. They're not English is not their first language, so I don't know exactly what the correlation is, but I was curious if it was the people that teach those classes that do speak English very well are teaching at higher level schools, and I don't maybe they're able to pay them less or something because they're not fluent or whatever it may be. I don't know, but
It yeah, it depends. Sometimes you get like those higher end courses and then yeah,
well,
someone that's interested from like across the world that's willing to do research in that and that'll put you into like the 3,000 and above level courses.
yeah, that's what the intro to GIS was 2,000 level. So,
Yeah.
um,
So what is
but yeah, I mean,
GIS for the listeners before we go on?
So it's basically just a lot of like essentially it's layers of maps almost is how I'd explain it as easily as I can.
What does it
So like
stand
there's
for?
you kind of put me on the spot there. I know it's
It's
geo.
geographic information system.
Yeah, I knew that one.
There,
Sorry.
there you go. So you guys stole the
I had a
thunder.
roommate in it.
I should have been able to rattle that off quickly, but that wasn't something that we went
You're still
over
getting
very
into
often.
it, so you're still getting into it.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'd say the easiest way to describe it is it's uh, layers of maps with different uh, different what's the word I'm looking for? Like different information on different maps and then layering them together to kind of correlate certain things.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with it.
Yeah,
There's a
I
lot
mean
you can do with it.
the military uses it a lot.
Military, political, like districting is you could just do like just so much with it. Just anything simple, like
Yeah, it's
just like lining, like showing where your streets are, and like compared to distances to the schools. I don't know, like just a bunch of
that's what
things like that.
I would say one of the things that definitely uh I found interesting was just kind of how they at one point we were highlighting kind of how Michelle Obama when she was the first lady, and you can definitely see the effect that it took with all the how many Aldis there are now. I mean, I remember maybe 5, 6 years ago, I'd maybe see one or two Aldis. I
We used to
wouldn't
make fun
remember
of
it. Think
Aldi.
any, yeah, I mean, it was nothing
Like,
ever
oh,
that
it's
you
a
do.
generic brand Aldi.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what Michelle Obama kind of did is using GIS. She was able to correlate like impoverished areas and uh, why our health was so bad is if you'd look at those areas, I mean, they had convenience stores. Their closest grocery store would be 15 miles away, and those people don't have a car or public
Oh.
transit to get there, so they don't. Obviously, their health's not going to be good when they're all they're getting is canned foods and freezer foods and no fresh produce ever.
Yeah, so it's like a food desert. Would they put Aldi's down there in the
Like
food desert?
like low cost,
Wow.
like grocery stores, basically, like just
Yeah,
giving
that's
them access to fresh produce, basically.
that's totally their niche right there. I mean, I go to the Aldi's
I love Aldi.
most of the time just because it's really cheap for eggs and milk, and then go get whatever else you want there.
Yeah, I usually don't get any like boxed food or nothing, so it's like like the produce is just as good as what I could find in Kroger's or Walmart or whatever. And in
Yeah.
fact, the lettuce is actually the same brand. Like it's the same stuff for the most part. So
Yeah.
I mean, milk is milk, eggs are eggs. You might get a bigger set of eggs at Walmart or something, but I mean, I don't know if
Yeah,
that's what
so
you're sticking to.
I mean, in a whole this year, I didn't really as painful as it is to say, I didn't necessarily learn a whole lot beyond GIS. It was a lot of, I mean, English was basically just high school English again.
Yeah.
Oh
So
God, that class.
terrible. I mean, I just
It was a waste of time.
I mean, like LiDAR and GPS and remote sensing, just things like that is really basically all I learned, if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that first year usually isn't like you're not gonna get a whole lot of information off of it. That was more of a get you back into the swing of things. I mean, you'd been out of school for what, 4 years at that point when you started. So I mean,
About
just
3
getting you
years
into
I
the
was
swing
out.
of things.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily, getting back into it. It was more just being able to get myself to sit down again and get back into the retain information and try to grasp new concepts.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Was that-
this upcoming year will probably be a little bit more into things, at least.
Yeah, I would assume so. So that's what I still have to. I still have to schedule for that. So I should
Yeah.
probably get on that soon.
Mom's gonna hear this on the podcast and she'll be like,
Ears raising up.
"Yeah,
Uh,
oh,
yeah. So far so good, I suppose.
so what you got going on over there, Chin? You've been quiet for a little while now."
Nothing.
Anything new this week?
No, just work.
No.
I'm tired. I kind of just want to go to bed, but
Just want to go to bed.
yeah,
How many hours a week do you usually work, Jen?
I work 40 hours a week typically.
Okay. I always see posting stories of the butt ass crack of dawn. I'm like I have to be at my work by like 7:30, and I usually wake up around like 6:50 and rub my eyes and put my clothes on and leave.
Yeah, I'm typically up at like 5:30, leave at 6 something, start work at 7.
Nice. A little
He was
7 to 3 then
7
usually.
to 3:30.
Okay.
not too bad.
Yeah. We have a
I
lot
think it
of
was-
companies that are working like 10s now, so there's guys getting there at like 6 a.m.
Staying till 4.
Have you had anybody come down with a coronavirus on one of your construction sites yet?
No, not that I know of. No.
Not that I
And
know of.
that is the last we will mention coronavirus if I am going to take part in this anymore. Anytime I hear anything about it, I change the channel. At this point, I'm just going to keep trying to follow the guidelines and just wait until they tell me I can go back to normal.
That's all you
I
can
was just
do.
wondering.
Yeah, it's about right.
So, you drinking on some homemade wine over there now?
That's about right. Yeah, homemade California roots, and it's from Target. It's
Nice.
$10 for a double bottle. So
Target for all our
yeah,
white people out there.
Target.
that's exactly it.
Fancy.
Target, because you don't want to be caught dead in Walmart.
Exactly.
That's their slogan.
I remember back when you guys had the house in Columbus. I remember you were doing your little closet wine. It was like, that is
Oh, yeah.
awesome. I was like, I kind of want to do this so I don't have to search high and wide for half a bottle of Kamchatka.
I only had it turn out good twice. That's it. And it was in Powell. I did it. My parents had no idea. And it's funny because they're going to listen to this and they're going to be like, how the hell we didn't see this?
Wait a minute.
They're like, I had like, I don't know. It had to be at least 4 2-liter bottles of Welch's
Balloon on top.
mixed grape juice with just yeast thrown in. That's all you had to do was just activate bread yeast. And it got me hammered. We had no idea what the alcohol percentage was. So I brewed this with one of my better friends, and we were just there one night, and that was it. We said like, that's a good enough time, and tapped into it. It was gone. That was probably one of the most gone I've ever seen anyone at any time. So that was the best brew we had, and then from there on down, it was just worse. It was
Just got worse and worse.
diminishing returns.
Were Were you
For
trying to do
sure.
too much with what you had? Is that what it was?
I bought better yeast. I bought better ingredients. I tried to be more aseptic. I think you just need like your own kitchen pot. You need some Welch's from the can. You need the frozen kind, and just tap out your bread yeast that you already got. If it's old, whatever, it might work you better. That thing got us hammered. We were playing like Crash Bandicoot, the mini games where you would like do a bunch of mini games against the bad guys or whatever. And just after a while, like I was doing much better, and then his performance just started tanking hard. It was just going down, and then all of a sudden it just hit a floor, and I was like, "What is going on over there?" And he's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, I understand now." It
Man,
became quite evident.
that reminds me of last night. Me and Grant were playing NCAA
You
14
got
college
the
football.
hands. You got the hands.
That was the worst. I couldn't. So I'll be quick with it because it's not very entertaining, I suppose, to hear about it. But it
I
was
liked it.
he was up 20. He was up by 14, I think it was at one point, and I ended up tying it up with like a minute left in the game, and I went for two because I wanted to win, and I didn't get it. And then I miraculously, if you've played any football game ever, you know how impossible it is to recover an onside kick. And I successfully did that. And I believe my first play with the ball after that, I
It
threw an
was.
interception.
End of the
So
game.
that was the end of that game. And then we played again, and he took the lead by a lot. And I told him I was going to bed. So I'm gonna have to run it back tonight, I believe.
We're definitely gonna play. I was practicing earlier, so I'm gonna
Oh,
Oh,
go.
It's a lot better than when you guys were young and you used to fight, throw hands.
I would
after every game, we'd fight.
if I lost, he cheated, and I needed to put a physical strike against him for that cheating, which was non-existent, obviously.
I beat him like almost every time we played, and then the first time that he lost, he still remembers the team that he beat me with. Like,
There's the fucking Rams with Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, and Marshall Faulk, and I kicked your ass.
you did. You destroyed me. I couldn't believe it was happening.
I couldn't either, but I was very happy. Yeah, I was definitely what most would refer to as a hothead in my younger days.
There wasn't a day go by that we didn't fight.
I mean, it didn't really matter where it was either.
No, not at all. We'd fight at
And
Shannon's house. We'd
you
fight at our house.
you knew what you were doing a lot of the time, and you knew when you'd want to fight, you'd be like, I'll just fuck with them. Like the time we were at our family friends, and I was laying on a hammock just minding my own damn business, and Landis decides he's gonna hit me with a basketball, and he perfectly placed it right on my nuts. And I mean, yes, granted, I was at the age where you act like it hurts to get hit in the nuts, and you don't truly know what it means to get hit in the nuts. But that was enough, and I sprung up, and that was one of the few times we were actually like swinging at each other, and it was just in front of like 5 family friends, and like my dad and his buddy are like, "Yeah,
They're like
Daddy."
cheering us on. So of course we kept going. Mom's back there screaming at us. She couldn't get in between us because we were going hard. I mean, that was probably one of the fights that we had that are for the ages. We were actually going for it. So
I just remember whenever you guys fought, I always felt like I was over at his friend's house with the parents screaming at
You're looking,
just sit there and you watch.
yeah, the Giphy or whatever you want to call him, that Terrio, the fat black kid, where he's holding his pop and he's looking left and right.
it's like, God, they're doing it again.
Oh. Well, that's I mean, I know Grant wanted me to say something about it, but I remember I didn't like a couple of your friends very much either, Chan. What was his name?
Yeah.
Ugh,
That was it. You know,
That's a
that was
story.
Noah's birthday party, okay?
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, that was funny. I don't remember exactly what I did to piss him off,
I don't
but I
know.
remember him throwing something big at me, and then
Oh, that was at my birthday party.
Yeah, that was at your birthday
Which I
party.
It
knew
was
was
the
Big
bad,
ass
saga.
log.
and it was a
Yeah.
log.
Yeah.
That was the second fight. You guys fought at Noah's birthday party too. Like,
Yeah.
if I remember right,
Oh.
it was like he was being real stupid. I mean, he let us like write like I'm an idiot on his forehead. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
I
like
forgot all about. Yeah, we were maybe I was, but I might have been one of the. That might I definitely took it far because I remember covering him, like on his forehead, like,
like
I just remember
and he was
Noah's
letting it
mom.
happen though.
Yeah, I remember
I
Noah's
think he
mom
asked
was
for
hide
it.
and seek, and we were in the closet, and she opens up the closet, and she looks at what was it like me, Noah, and I think it was someone else, but we're just sitting there, and like it was eye contact, eye contact, eye contact.
Oh yeah.
Closes it and walks away.
She looks right at us and we all just stop breathing. It's like that moment in the movies, when the person is right there, the bad guy's like about to get you, and you just hold your breath and you're just like and for whatever stupid reason it works and they leave. That was it right there. And we're like, oh
Woo.
god, we can still play this stupid game. But we were legitimately lost to them. They had no idea where we were. I remember the way we really confused them is we kept giggling and it would carry through the vents, which the vents would carry right through to the master bedroom. It would come very clearly, and that was really confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was a great
playing
one right there.
basketball in that parking lot, not parking lot, but your little driveway there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I
Use
used to
the
think it was huge, like
yeah.
the edge there going from the side. I used to think that was like so far away, but like going back, one side is super close. The left side is super close to the rim, so I would always shoot from the right side, which was farther away, which had that little. If you remember, you had like a little mulch area for plants and stuff, but the
Yeah.
very edge was just worn away dirt just from us standing there shooting the whole time.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I
I
remember
mean, I
that.
gotta look at it myself. After a while, that basketball hoop didn't even have a square. It just had the nuts. That was it. You only got the corners.
That's all you needed.
Yeah.
And then Anthony and Grant had their basketball hoop in their backyard. I do remember that. I remember it being low so we could dunk though.
That was the best.
Oh, those are always fun.
But what I really remember is the pool you guys had and a specific aunt of ours who tried to capture Anthony from not going in.
I've never heard this story from Anthony's perspective. Can I get it from him?
I'm gonna need some more information to jog my memory.
So the pool was really
Wow.
low.
Okay.
It was at one
The
of our
pool was
birthday
really low, and
parties.
it had like pond scum and a bunch of stuff in it, and the family was over.
It was
Hey,
at one
And
of
we
our
were like,
birthday
"I'm gonna
parties.
jump in it," and Aunt Veronica was like, "Don't you dare do
Don't
it,
you do
Anthony J." And you were up on
That's
the
all I
ladder.
needed to hear.
You were up on the ladder. You had your foot. She's like, "Don't you do it." And you like tipped your foot in, and she started coming after you, and you hopped out, went around the side, and she came around. She came around the pool. Her feet went to the left, her head went to the right, and she went boom straight
She
down.
bit it.
It was
I
hilarious.
can't say I have very good memory of that, but I do know if you told me not to do something, I was gonna do it.
Yeah, that was a fun time. I remember that.
I've always been that way.
Dang. It's your story. You don't even remember it.
Yeah, like I said, most of my childhood memories are just all spliced together. So
Scrambled in there.
What's your youngest memory that you have then? What would you say is your best memory with all of us from when we were kids?
I mean, I can't.
Don't make him think too hard.
Yeah, off the top of my head, it's hard to find a singular moment. But I mean, I remember playing wiffle ball in Noah's backyard a lot at McConnell East.
Mm-hmm.
I liked playing hide and go seek at church.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't forget hiding during the sermon, trying to sneak out of there and not have to sit through it. And
Would we not? Because I remember we would have Sunday school. Would we just not go to Sunday school and just play
well, that
instead?
was
Go play hide and
that's
go
that's
seek.
what we would
I
try to
think
do.
sometimes.
When they
Grab
would
some
dismiss
donuts.
us, we'd go, grab a donut and go run outside.
Go
But
run
that was
around.
the worst part is you guys were all that kind of just goes to kind of encapsulates it. I had to go to a separate Sunday school class because I was younger than you guys. So I was
Yeah.
in there with the Sunday school's teacher and her two kids. So it was they were the stars of the show. I mean, she'd ask, what's the sixth commandment or commandment, and I'd be like, where's it at? Like, where's the list at? They're over there. Ooh, me.
Me.
I'm like,
I mean,
this is
they
not
were
cool.
all about it too. Like the one kid actually who was in our Sunday school, maybe a year ahead of us. He's actually like a priest now. Like they were like literally just all about it.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I could not care less about it. I'm just like
Yeah,
I'm
well,
here. I'm here. Whatever. It's just
I
I have
just
my
remember
donuts.
coloring pictures.
Like,
That's all I
I
don't remember
yeah.
a damn thing that they talked about, nor did I care.
I really don't remember anything, and that's like pretty incredible because it's like Sunday school. A lot of people rely on that to get their
I used to
religion
be
taught. I got
I
taught
used
so much more in school.
Yeah, that's
Well, we
exactly.
went to a
I
Catholic
used to be
high school,
jealous.
though.
I'd ask my mom. I'm like, why doesn't Noah get to go to Sunday school? I was like jealous. I'm like, he gets to stay in the sermon and stuff. Like, well, I have to leave. He's like,
Whatever.
she was like, because he learned a lot more in school, and you have to go learn in Sunday school. I'm like, so I was just all poopy faced about it. I'm like, I don't want to learn this stuff. Brr. So I had
Yeah.
the worst outlook on it.
We had our coloring time some other uh, days of the week. It's all right. The key thing to take away from a religion class is whenever you don't know the answer, you put down Jesus, and you at least get half credit.
Jesus.
Jesus, half credit.
I mean, that's if you're talking New Testament. Old Testament, he wasn't there.
Still works.
Old
Jesus. That was our joke, at least.
I just, yeah.
What is
What is your guys' like oldest memory with Anthony?
So my earliest memory of Anthony is that we would always play video games. I think we were already trained to stay up until 2 a.m. because of how many times your mom would yell at us to go to
He'd
bed.
always be the first to fall asleep.
Me?
No, Anthony.
Oh yeah, it'd be Anthony. But here's the devil in the details. He'd be the first to wake up. Isn't that right, Anthony?
Yeah, because that's the only way I could fucking play the game. That's why I went to bed early, because I wouldn't fucking play. You guys would take turn on the campaign. You guys would fucking take turns on the campaign, and I'd sit there just like, oh, all right. I guess I'll just go to
Anthony's
bed.
last.
Then I'd wake up in the morning and fucking try to get my game in.
Silently turn it on. Oh, heaven forbid you go over to Chandler's house and then You have to work with the alien remote
Oh
that
my God,
requires.
that was the worst, dude. How
You're
do
like
I
sitting
get
there like
this thing
trying
on?
to, then you get it on and then there's no sound. You're like, what?
Then you get it on and it's on TV, and then you're on the DVD player, and you're like, I the one thing I want, please.
How many buttons do I gotta push?
Where is it? Where's the secret code? It's like getting into Narnia.
Where's
Well,
my
yeah,
video
it worked
game?
for you because it was yours, and you knew what to do.
Hey, I showed you guys multiple times.
Okay, but let's not act like you gave us a great description, because
It wasn't all that hard. It's
I mean, all three of us have the same
Yeah.
remembrances of it being a fucking difficult thing to work with.
It took me at least 6 years to learn that damn remote.
It should. I'm gonna, I would say the least intellectual out of all of us here was
You
able
get
to
the most
figure it out.
practice with it.
I figured it out right from the get go. I was never like, oh, how does this work? It was just shown to me once, and then it was because there's only one button that I would need: video games. And I knew how to get to the TV, but I rarely ever watched TV in there, so it was just go to the PlayStation. It literally said PlayStation on it. You could click it, and it would do it for you.
No, it didn't just say. You had to hit the GameCube one for the PlayStation. Like it was plugged in on the GameCube version. Like there was like different there was different codes to it.
I agree with that. Then you have to get to the button that says PlayStation, so you have to get to that menu already, and it's like, how the hell do I get there?
There's just one button.
No, that's a lie.
No,
No,
it was
that
literally-
thing,
was not.
that thing
Literally,
was
it
a
was a button.
laptop the
No, it
size
wasn't.
of a freaking tablet.
It literally was.
Chandler will not
You'd
stand
click
for
like
any
you'd
controller
click like what
slander.
would say more. You'd click that, and then that was it. And you click more until you saw, PlayStation or game.
Can we agree that it was unnecessarily complicated? Like literally.
It was a lot of buttons.
Sure, but I wouldn't say it was extremely hard to learn. I lived with it, so I got the most time out of it. But I picked it up from the get go. I never once went down to my parents. Was like, "How do you use this again?" Maybe it's because I knew like I had to learn it. Right, and the guy was explaining it to me. I was probably like, my parents are not going to know how this works. I have to know how this works.
I remember the intercom system. Anytime we get too loud late,
Oh God, I hate
hear
that. Beep beep beep.
Quiet down.
Go
to bed.
Great.
Beep beep beep. Such a lazy way of yelling. You just get the beep beep beep, and then you just stop whatever you're doing.
Quiet. Everybody, shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
It's just like, stop making so much noise. We can hear you just banging through the floor. Sorry, shouldn't have put a little mini basketball in my room. I guess.
Try to shoot hoops and catch the ball before it hit the ground.
By the time Landis put his big old hip into my wall, and then no, it was Noah.
It wasn't me.
Noah
No,
put his hip
that
into
was
the wall.
Noah.
It was me.
Noah
I
put
got
his hip
yelled
into the
at.
wall,
Yeah,
and then
so
my
I
mom
got
got
yelled at
like,
because I gave.
what the hell did you do?
Yelled at.
It was me who got yelled at, but it was Noah who put his knee through the wall.
I
gave him the
said
alley-oop
it was
pass.
me. And then he got yelled at. I had no idea. And then I said again, it was me, and I was like, oh, okay.
I think it was just some residual hate, like from me peeing on the bed. So
I don't think so.
on the couch bed.
I think it was just a whole misunderstanding. After the misunderstanding was
I
gone,
think she saw the size of the hole, and she was like, "Ain't no way Noah's skinny ass put that in the wall."
It was Noah.
I was not skinny then. That's for damn sure.
No, ain't no.
That was
way.
fat Noah. That was fat Noah.
Yeah,
no
it was
way.
Buddha Noah.
No way. No way.
I forgot that there was a fat Noah.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I think I liked fat Noah more than skinny Noah.
fat Noah more than skinny Noah. If you ever look back, If you look at Fat Noah, like the face looks like
I remember
the
like thinking,
medieval cherub garbage you ever see. Like the really like fat faces. That's what it looks like. Really rounded.
I forgot that you were fat. I remember thinking like
Yeah.
the summer after like you got skinny, and I'm like, man, like what the hell? Like what happened? Like what happened to my cousin? Like we're both fat brothers. Like we're supposed to be fat together. And, like, you sprouted up and got some height, and I didn't. So I remained fat.
It's supposed to be a challenge getting up the stairs. It's a journey we take together.
Just supposed to be fat with me.
Yeah. I remember that was like high school. I just after a while I got to 140 and then I just stayed at 140, but my height just kept going. And that was weird. I had no idea what that was about. Then, through high school you start putting on the pounds.
Yeah, I certainly did.
So, I was looking at your sophomore year pictures though, Grant. Like, damn. That was some good looking Grant right there.
That was probably my I was talking about it last night with Anthony. Like I was like, it was because of football. Like we were like supposed to run the mile like under a
Yeah.
certain time period if you wanted to like start, and I was like all about starting. So I ran the mile in 7 minutes and 21 seconds, and at the time I couldn't do that
pretty good.
now. Like that was really good for me. Like I was a big boy, I got in really good shape. That was the best shape I've ever been in my life.
Yeah,
I look
you
good.
look pretty
I
cut in
did
your
see a
jersey.
few of those pictures. I was like, yeah, I look pretty good though. I'm like,
Yeah, you're getting back into it for sure.
never
You're gonna
getting
start
back.
breaking necks.
That'd be nice. That's better than what I did before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So what
Oh,
else we
boys.
got?
Man, we've been on here since 7:00. We got
Oh,
ourselves a nice long episode this time.
who wants to wrap it
Again.
up? Anthony, you got anything else you want to
Any
say?
closing statements?
You're the first guest.
First guest.
You get to figure out what people say when we're about to wrap up.
I already know. I'm a listener.
Bye,
Craig.
Bye, Craig.
Get out of here,
Get out
Craig.
of here.